What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great Easter weekend. Um, Getting into this episode of GH, you know what? I'm glad Portia apologized to Elizabeth for her rudeness. Like at the end of the day, Portia didn't need to go off on Liz like that. She didn't need to snap at her like that. You know what I'm saying? Because Liz is going through a lot as well as Portia is. Um, I understand Portia is upset over the whole, Trina being arrested thing. Of course, she should be upset, but you still have a job to do. You're still a doctor. You still have to focus on patient care. You still have to get your paperwork in order. You know what I mean? And that's all Liz was trying to tell her. Like, I need your notes for a patient so I can discharge the patient. Oh, just do the best you can with what you have and stuff like that and cut me some slack. I'm like, ma'am, you still have a job to do. You know what I mean? It's not, and I'm glad Liz clapped back at her and was like, "Listen, it's not my job to make sure that the doctors turn in their notes on their patients for them to be discharged and stuff like that." She said, "That's not my job. I shouldn't have to do that." And I totally agree with Elizabeth. Like, y'all all have a job to do, and making sure that doctors get their notes in on time is not one of her jobs. I am so glad Liz let her know about herself because that is true. Y'all both got jobs to do, and Liz is doing her job. Mind you, Liz is going through shit of her own too. Like, not only is she picking up overtime at the hospital, she's still getting her job done, and she's dealing with Cameron and this whole sex tape mess. Plus, she's dealing with this ghost stalker situation that's going on. She has a lot on her plate too. Plus, she's trying to start a new relationship with Finn. She has a lot on her plate, and yet she still comes to work on time, getting her job done. She hasn't been making mistakes, Plus, I mean, I'm pretty sure Liz is burnt out, working all this extra hours and stuff like that. And I'm glad Liz was like, you know what, I'm gonna talk to Epiphany to see if she could, give me a day off or whatever. Let me see if I could have, a personal day to myself so I can rest. And I agree, Liz definitely should talk to Epiphany about it. Taking a day to herself because she needs it. But like I said, I'm glad that Portia apologized to her because they're both under a lot of stress right now, and now is not the time for y'all to be snapping, you know. Um, but Portia shouldn't feel bad because I know Portia felt bad that, Liz has been going through stuff, she's been going through stuff, and she hasn't been checking on Liz as much as she would like to. I mean, it happens. You know what I'm saying? When you're going through things and life is happening, it's hard to constantly check in with your friends. Lord knows me and my friends sometimes have that issue too. But we don't get mad at each other about it because we're dealing with life stuff. Sometimes things fall through the cracks, but we always do try to make time, stuff to hang out and go have drinks, go eat. That's important. You know, so I'm glad they squashed that relatively quickly. And even Finn got some ideas from Alexis about how to help Elizabeth. Because he felt helpless in all of this. And he even told Liz like maybe she should go see Kevin because he could try to help unlock, some of her dreams and stuff like that because she keep having these dreams and she can't remember her dreams or so hopefully Kevin can unlock them. Because she was mad for taking them sleeping pills and stuff like that because stuff is going on and she can't remember certain things that's happening. I don't know, but I feel like maybe Liz is doing this to herself. Maybe it's a strong possibility. You know what I mean? Like, that DID and stuff, how you just black out and your alter is doing stuff and then you come to and you don't remember anything that happened from the time that you went to sleep or whatever. Maybe she do need to go talk to Kevin. I don't think it would hurt, you know? It wouldn't hurt nothing. I think she might need it. Lord knows, because I'm ready for them to nip this whole Elizabeth thing in the bud. Like, I'm ready to find out, like, not nip it in the bud, but I'm ready to find out what the hell's been going on these last couple weeks and months with her. Um, it's time to put it to bed because she was at the nurse's station and she got a call and some dude was on the phone talking about don't forget me. And she was like, what? Because she thought it was the person, who's been doing this to her. But apparently it was just a patient or whatever because I was like, thank God it was a patient. Telling her what room he in and stuff like that. I said, thank the good Lord. But they need to find out who doing this. Because I'm curious. Because they got Liz twisted around here. Like, I know she's losing her little mind over this. So anyway, moving on from that. So Felicia and Anna and Robert were all together at Anna's house or whatever, trying to figure out this whole Luke situation. Because even Robert is questioning Jennifer Smith's involvement in Luke's death. Robert doesn't believe it. And he's starting to think maybe he was like, do we really have justice for our friend? Robert is not buying it. That is Jennifer. And when Laura came over and found out about who it was, Laura wasn't buying it either. She said, no, it ain't, because she knows that this ain't Jennifer Smith's style. You know what I'm saying? Like risking other people's life to, rig a cable card. You know what I'm saying? Like she wouldn't do that. They all felt like pretty much that was a Cassadine move. The problem is they can't prove Victor's guilt in all of this. So of course Robert had an idea. Yeah, Anna wasn't probably too thrilled about his idea, but basically to use her relationship with Valentin to get the goods on Victor. Try to pump Valentin for information, to see if he'll slip up and say something that will incriminate Victor. Because at this point, that's their only way of proving Victor's guilt, and proving his involvement in all of this. Felicia was just sitting there laughing like, what relationship? Because even Felicia was like, y'all got a relationship? And Anna was not trying to talk about it. She was like, listen, let's move on. Yo, I love it when old school characters can get together for a good laugh and, you see them trying to solve a mystery together. It just brings back old school feelings inside of me. Like just watching them, old clips of them and stuff from back in the day and then seeing them all these years later. So yeah, Anna wants to focus her attention on who Jennifer Smith was talking to. Mr. The French captain. That's who she wants to put her focus on. But little does she know that little French captain was really her man Valentin. I wonder what her reaction gonna be when she find out it was him, because that's gonna be funny. And she was surprised when Valentin popped up at her door when Robert was leaving, because Robert was like, "Oh, speak of the devil." Speaking of Valentin, he popped up in Alexis's office, sitting up in her chair and stuff like that. And I love their relationship. Alexis and Valentin have come a long way. Even though they're not, brother sister like they thought they were. Technically, they could be considered step siblings, I guess. They're technically cousins, but thank God they are family, because I love their relationship. It came a long way, and she kind of has that relationship with him that she had with Stefan back in the day. Um, but Valentin seemed a little different to me, the way he was talking. I'm not sure. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but I'm trying to question it. I'm like, is he really working with Victor? Like, does Victor have him brainwashed or something? Or is he really trying to play Victor, but make everybody else think that he's, on Victor's side to get Victor to trust him more? I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that out. Because he was talking to Alexis about how proud he was of her and what she done with the invader, and how Victor thinks that it's a good thing that they have a media company in the family or whatever. And Alexis pointed out to his ass, well, I don't own this company. And she was like, since when did you start caring what Victor think? I was like, exactly. When did you start caring? Because before, Valentin didn't give two craps about Victor. But I think he probably playing him, though. I would think Valentin is playing Victor. So apparently Valentin done sent Charlotte off to boarding school or whatever to get her out of Port Charles because of what happened with Peter. But Valentin was just putting it out there to Alexis that she shouldn't turn her back on the family that she has left. The Cassadines that are left. And he feels like she can't pick her family. Basically trying to tell her that she should unite with them. And Alexis was like, hell no. Alexis said, absolutely not. She said, I disagree. She said, I think we should be able to pick our family. Because Alexis basically has. Like, we already know that she picks and chooses which Cassadines she deals with. You know what I'm saying? Like, she never really dealt with Stavros and Helena and all them. She couldn't stand them. But, when it came to Stefan and Nicholas and stuff like that, she embraced them. She was close with them. But the rest of them Cassadines, she said, get away from me. Mm-mm. So she basically over the years has picked and chose who she want in her circle as far as family go. But I'm trying to make sense of Valentin. Like, what game is you playing? So speaking of Alexis, I am so glad she's starting to open her eyes up to Harmony, because when she was talking to Finn and stuff like that, she's starting to open her eyes up to this girl. Like, she thought she kind of knew Harmony or was getting to know her when they were in Spring Ridge, but now she figures like maybe I didn't know her at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, because you haven't known her at all. So Alexis goes to the pier and she finds Brendan's body floating in the pier in the water. I was like, oh my God. And this is not going to end well for Harmony. Because Harmony done snuck into Brendan's office, well, not his office, but his Metro Court room, to get the file that he had on her. I'm like, dummy. That was a smart move, but dummy, they do have cameras in the hallway. So if anybody wants to think about it and they want to look at those cameras, they can see you coming out that main room with a file in your hand. Plus, you have the housekeeper who saw you in the hallway and talked to you, asking if you were a guest. So they got all of that to go up against you. It's going to come out. And the fact that she killed, or maybe accidentally killed, or whatever, well, she did try to kill the man. I mean, she was trying to strangle the dude. The fact that she killed Brendan is going to come back and bite her in the ass. Because when she bumped into Willow at the Metro Court, now, this is what I want to know, too. Why do people always do that? Because Willow was asking Harmony, oh, what brings you here, and stuff like that. I hate when people do that. Why do you ask somebody what brings them there? It's a bar and it's a restaurant. What else would bring me to a bar or restaurant? Food, liquor. Do I have to explain why I'm here? So yeah, because Harmony was trying to dodge those questions or whatever from Willow, because Willow was asking her about Brendan. And the fact that Willow saw Harmony with him, and now that he's dead and Alexis found his body, his face is gonna be plastered all over the news. Willow's bound to see that. And when Willow sees it, she's going to put two and two together like, this is the man I saw Harmony with. This secret ain't going to stay secret for long. It's not. Like, somebody's already placed you with this man. They got you on camera in the hallway taking the file out that man's room. You're as good as done, Harmony. It wasn't no point in her even taking that file. You're done. You're going to jail. ASAP. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just go right to jail. That's where you about to go. Because they got the goods on you. And then she's sitting there telling Willow, oh, everything I've done has been for you and stuff like that. And Willow was like, what the hell have you done? Harmony is done at this point. She might as well just go on to jail. Just go ahead and go tell Dante what she did. Go turn yourself in. So anyway, moving on from that. So apparently Jordan bumped into Curtis or whatever on a pier. She was coming from Windermere. And she was trying to talk to Esme and Spencer, trying to get their statements about that night, but she couldn't really talk to them without a lawyer. I'm like, why would they need a lawyer if you're just trying to get statements from them about that night? Because they were there that night. It's just routine questions. So clearly you got something to hide if you need a lawyer. I guess the staff or something wouldn't allow her to talk to them without an attorney present or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you wouldn't need a lawyer if you were innocent. I'm just saying. Lawyers is for guilty folk. Like, nobody was accusing you of nothing. She was just trying to get statements from you. General statements. I didn't think police commissioners did that kind of thing. Like, wouldn't you send an officer for something like that? Or a detective? The lead detective on the case? Commissioners don't usually come from their office to go handle these cases personally, but I guess since they're in that town, I guess. But yeah, so they're trying to, Jordan was trying to make sure her and Curtis were good or whatever, as far as that little incident that happened with them before. I wouldn't have been good with him if I was Jordan, because the way he spoke to her last time was utterly rude and unnecessary. So after Jordan left, Selena pops up, looking as gorgeous as ever. So Selena found out that Marshall definitely wasn't in witness protection, but she does have his police record. And of course, she won't give that record to Curtis until he gets the nightclub ready for her poker game. Her little poker thingy she doing or whatever with, mobster poker. See, I feel like this whole arrangement between Curtis and Selena is just going to backfire on Curtis. Once you're in bed with the mob, you're in. There's no getting out of it. Ain't going to happen, Captain. Like, he good luck with that one. So anyway, moving on from that. Portia was pretty much on one when it came to Jordan. Because Portia's not happy that Jordan arrested Trina. She felt like there was no cause for it. I mean, I have to agree with Jordan on this. I feel like she was doing her job. There was overwhelming evidence against her, even if it was planted and framed or whatever. They couldn't refute the evidence. And once the DA or the ADA puts out a warrant, goes to a judge for a warrant, what else are they supposed to do? The cops have to do their job. Basically, she felt like Jordan was being biased because of her relationship with Curtis, and she felt like Jordan was trying to use Trina, whatever the case. Because she was pissed. She felt like Jordan could have held off on arresting her and stuff like that, but Jordan was like, well, I'm just doing my job. She was like, well, I seen you bend the law for your family countless times. The same thing Curtis pretty much tried to throw in her face before when she wouldn't give him the Marshall file. I mean, she only bent the law before because she was being blackmailed to do so. Other than that, she more than likely wouldn't have. I felt like it wasn't fair of Portia to come down on Jordan. In my personal opinion, I think it was jacked up. So now Curtis is probably gonna have to jump in there and play referee. But Portia might want to chill out because she did allude to Jordan that she had a secret of her own. So if you don't want Jordan to remember that, you might want to keep your mouth closed and not get in her face. I'm just saying. So anyway, moving on from that, Britt and Brad were talking or whatever. Britt was tap dancing around Brad's questions about his job because he wanted to know if a decision was made on whether or not he was going to get the job as an orderly. And she kept trying to push him to do something else. Like, oh, why would you want to be an orderly? Go do something else. Don't you want a better job? But he think that's all he qualified to do. I'm like, bro, no, you are not only qualified to be, work in the medical field. That is not true. There are other jobs that you could do, bro. But that's what he think he qualified for because he feels like it's either work at the hospital or work for Selena. And he was like, I'm not trying to work for Selena, obviously, because that would just lead, to bad things, which is true. But Britt had to save her own ass at this point because remember, Selena's blackmailing her. Like she got the goods on Britt. So Britt ain't got no choice but to kind of steer Brad somewhere else. So then they started talking about her dating life and stuff. I don't know why people are so interested in Britt's dating life. They act like that woman lonely or something. I mean, do she want a relationship? Sure. But I feel like she should let it happen naturally. And besides that, she was saying how she might not have time for a relationship anyway, being co-chief of staff and all, that's a lot of work. So the only time she might have time for a relationship is on nights and weekends, and even at some nights during the week, she still, might be busy with work because you might have to work overtime. I mean, whatever happened to her and Chad? I mean, not Chad, Chet. Amy brother. Like, whatever happened with them? I felt a little love chemistry between them. And I really wish that they would have put Chet and Britt together because I like them together. I felt some chemistry. And I hate that the writers are not moving on to that or whatever. I want to see them together. I really did dig them as a potential couple. I thought that could have been cute. Could have been good. Chet and Britt, they look good together. I don't see why not. So of course Selena come over there, being her little demanding self. So basically, Selena wants him to start his new job at the Savoy immediately because she want him to oversee the poker game. Brad has no choice because Britt was definitely I think she was about to tell Brad about Selena's blackmail until Selena popped up. So he need to figure out a way to, get out from under his aunt because if not, you're going to be under her thumb for a very long time, brother. Better figure it out. So anyway, that's pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought and I will see you all later. Have a great day. Peace.